Hi, Adrian Gostick here, author of lots of books on leadership and culture. I am so excited to be here in the Dominican Republic, speaking with interest. So please watch this video. We're going to talk a lot about organizational culture, change, and leadership. When you think about organizational culture, that really is the norms that we behave with each other. It really is a few things. It's when I speak, somebody listens. When I do something great, I'm recognized, and we have a vision here. Those really do define culture. It's where are we right now? Where do we want to be? And how will we act to get there? So when you think about great cultures, it might be a favorite organization that you like to go and shop at or fly on. Every company has a different culture, and it really is the foundation of who you are as an organization, but also how we behave with each other and with our customers. Why is culture so important to our success is because every time as a client or a customer I interact with one of your people, that is the definition of your culture. So if I have a bad experience, if I call into your bank or if I have an interaction in your retail location that is subpar, I think your entire organization has a bad culture. Well, that's a problem. So culture really has to be defined by the top, but also lived from the top throughout the entire organization. And it has to spread like a perfume within the organization. And that means it has to be clear. This is what we believe, this is what we stand for, and this is how we work together to accomplish our vision. Managers are the most important factor in creating a great culture. And that means our managers clear about the vision they're trying to create. I mean, think back to some of the managers you've had in your career. There were probably some that were pretty good, but not great. Maybe some bad managers. Those great managers, how did they behave? Well, I'm guessing that they set very clear goals with you. They made you stretch, and they believed in you, though, that you could accomplish more than you ever had before. And they saw you as an individual. They recognized the unique talent you brought, and they encouraged you to grow and develop. Managers really do define a culture. About 70% of each of our employee engagement is dependent upon the manager we work for. So as much as we feel like I'm self-motivated or I can drive myself, really, the manager really does make a big difference in our work experience and how the culture is defined. Resistance to change is one of the biggest problems we find when we're trying to change our organization. A lot of times people won't change until they understand why the change has to happen. But as leaders, we give them very little of the why. So the biggest resistance you'll find is that people just don't understand why we have to do things in a new way. We call that the burning platform. I'm not going to jump from this oil derrick that's 100 feet above the water unless I know there's a fire behind me. Well, that's what we're defining when we talk about the burning platform. What is the fire? Why do I have to leap? You help me understand that, and I'm going to be much more engaged. So there are typically three questions I need to know as an employee. Where are we heading? How do I fit in, and do I add value? And do I have a future here? You bring those down, those anxieties down as we're going through a change, I'm going to be a lot more committed. Some of the biggest signs of team disconnection are when people are kind of complaining, either to your face or behind your back in the break room. Really, you should be surveying your people. If you don't have a survey tool, you should be asking them. And if you ask the right questions, you'll get people starting to talk. Hey, what is it around here that we do well? What have you seen done better maybe in other organizations that we could learn from? What do you think could challenge us to grow? You're not asking, what's wrong around here, because they may not be honest with you. But you're asking questions that are a little bit more subtle, like, what have you seen elsewhere that we could learn from? What do you think some of our team members may be struggling with that we could address? So you're not asking them directly, what's your problem? You're saying, what do you see in the team? And they're much more open that way. Or what have you seen elsewhere that we could learn from? You have to be sometimes a little subtle if you're joining a place or you're running a place that may have some disengagement issues with your people. When you're thinking about building resilience in your team members, that means coming back from challenges, because we're all going to face challenges. Sometimes here in the DR we feel like, we're an island, nothing can reach us. No, this change is coming. There's global impacts right now from trade wars, there's political instability, AI is coming in, shaking up all of our jobs, change is coming. And so when we think about how we build resilience in our workplace, first off, it's being honest about what we're facing. So be clear with some of the challenges we're facing right now. Give people a better way forward, but let them feel like we're going into the dark together, holding hands. So we're going to be united as we go forward. That's how we build a workplace where people feel like they're part of the solution. And they're going to be much more able to get through the challenges when they feel like they're united versus in the dark. It's really vital as we build a team to help people feel like we have a collective sense of purpose. Now that means that we're all seeing the same vision on the horizon. I had an employee recently tell me, she said, I want my manager to see the horizon so I can keep my head down doing my work. And it's like, somebody is steering the ship. If I know that, I can relax and I can do my work. Now, one of the problems is the manager feels like they have a sense of purpose but doesn't share it with anybody. Now that's a problem as well. When I do executive coaching, I say, look, you can't just do this once a year. What is our purpose? Every week you have to be talking to your people saying, remember, this is where we're moving toward. This is our purpose. These are the challenges we're facing right now, and these are how we're addressing them. Purpose is something you have to work on every single week throughout the year. When you look to transforming a culture, one of the biggest challenges is bringing your people along. I like to think about it like this, is about a third of your people will be gung-ho, excited for whatever change you're about to bring, because that's the kind of people they are. About a third of people will be on the fence. They've seen the changes before and they're not too sure about it. They'll tip one way or the other depending on you, their leader. And unfortunately, about a third of people are going to be resistant. They're going to dig their heels in and say, we've never done it this way before, I don't like this. Unfortunately, you have to work on those people, give them a few chances. Some of them may not make it. We wait, unfortunately, way too long before we move some of those people out. But they either have to come with you or work somewhere else. So this one-third, one-third, one-third is very important. Use those early adopters, get them on board with you, use them throughout the organization, tip those people in the middle, and make sure they come with you. And as for those people who resist, don't wait too long. Address it and make sure if they're not willing to come with you that there's another place for them, but don't wait forever to get them on board. So finally, as you look to recruit new people to bring them into the organization, culture is one of the most important factors. I was in a conference just recently, and I heard the CEO, the Chief Operating Officer, speaking about a new person they were going to bring in. So the CEO and the COO were talking, and as the CEO was really excited about this person, the CEO, the top guy, says, is this a cultural fit? Is this new person going to fit in our culture? And he wasn't trying to make sure everybody was the same. He just wanted to make sure the person understood the culture and embraced it. Now that means, A, you have to be able to define your culture when you're hiring people. This is who we are, this is what we stand for. And B, you have to ask smart questions to see if they're going to fit. Now you want people to push you and think a little differently. But say customer service is your top priority within your culture. Well, don't hire somebody who's not customer centric. Let's say you're very innovative and you think outside the box and you like to work in an unstructured environment. Then don't hire somebody who likes rigid policies. There's some simple ways that we can identify cultural fit when we hire. Now the idea is bring people in who fit the culture, but will also push you forward. That's what the great leaders that I've interviewed over the years have done.